Hello and welcome to the Honor Knowledge channel. The main thing I want to speak about today is the shutdown and my belief on who the 5 senators are that will come from the Democratic Party to help get the continuing resolution passed, and why I think each one of those will be doing it. But as part of the weekly update for October 1st, we have to go over the status of my hungry strike for America, where my belief is I lose 50 pounds for the 50 states, and the Republicans maintain control of the House and the Senate. In fact, my interest is to increase the majority in the House and the Senate. So first of all, the status of the Hungry Strike for America. I'm in my official I didn't lose a pound shirt, so there you go. You got the status. No additional star. Remember, I add a star as part of the reward I get for losing my own pound. And I also talk about a different state and filled in that state on the map. So there's no 11th star on the official Hungry Strike for America sign. Let's go over the redistricting, New Jersey, Fulton County news that I have, and then we'll go on to the 5 senators. First, New Jersey. The only reason why I wanted to talk about New Jersey is to state that for those of you that don't know about what the program is, what the process is for getting an appointment to one of the academies, the bottom line is there was nothing to see here with regard to the 2 children of the Democrat candidate for governor who are just starting at the Naval Academy. There's nothing to see here. There's no problem that I could see. I have a lot of experience with regard to appointments, besides doing it later in life to help people get appointments. I also myself got 5 different appointments to get to the Naval Academy. Ever since I was 6 years old, I wanted to go there, and by God, I got the appointments. It is understandable that a Naval Academy graduate's children, and in this case, both the father and the mother are Naval Academy graduates, that their children would want to attend the Naval Academy. And how they got into there appears to be totally proper to me. So let's move on to redistricting. Well, not a lot of news there. First of all, a reminder that the Supreme Court is hearing the case of Louisiana versus Calais on October 15th. Just a reminder because of the importance of that with regard to redistricting in multiple states. First of all, Louisiana, that's part of the lawsuit, and then Florida. A lot of activity will occur once the Supreme Court has figured that out. Second thing is North Carolina. There's been some chatter recently about North Carolina possibly redistricting. The bottom line on that, I don't think there's any way that North Carolina will be redistricting. And then the last thing is Utah. Latest information with regard to the required Utah redistricting is that the Republicans will probably keep all 4 seats, pending all kinds of additional lawsuits, of course. And Fulton County, remember Fulton County, Georgia has had lots of problems in the past with elections. Lots of problems in the past. Right now, the Fulton County commissioners continue to be not in compliance with state law and are refusing to seat 2 Republican candidates onto the election board. And yet the Fulton County Election Board continues to actually support elections right now and continue to support preparations for next year's election. We desperately need, for all kinds of reasons, to get the Republican candidates on the board. I actually reached out and I haven't yet got a response yet from the Fulton County Republican Committee. This is pretty important. For example, in 2026, Senator Ossoff has to go up for re-election. And Fulton County was, well, let's just say the Fulton County shenanigans, I believe, was why he got elected initially. So let's go on to the shutdown in the 5 senators. And this has a lot to do with the 2026 elections. Their decisions have a lot to do with what happens in their specific re-elections next year or in the elections of their replacements. But let me go over first the 3, what the press refers to as Democrats, who have supported the continuing resolution. Actually, one of them is an independent, and that's Senator King from Maine. And looking at his background, Senator King is a formidable force up in Maine. He was once the governor. Looking into his background, he seems like the kind of person that would be doing things that are good for the country. Thank you, Senator King. Next, we have Senator Castro-Masto. I hope I said her name correctly. Senator from Nevada. She also appears to be very formidable. Her background's pretty good. Senator King and Senator Cortez-Masto, along with Senator Fetterman, the 3rd senator who crossed party lines to support the continuing resolution, all 3 appear to me to be outstanding senators who could very well be very important in the future Democratic Party. For the good of our country, the Democratic Party needs to have leaders who are pro-American. And the third, of course, was Senator Fetterman, who most of us have seen in the news. Senator Fetterman also appears to have supported the continuing resolution because it's the right thing to do. All three of these senators appear to have the right stuff, for lack of a better term. By the way, all three of these are not facing re-election next year. That could be part of the reason that they were willing to come across, but I still think, based upon their backgrounds, that they were doing it for the right reasons. Now, the 5 senators that I believe will also be supporting the continuing resolution are people that should be supporting the continuing resolution. All 5 of them are either up for re-election next year, 2026, or are retiring, but their replacements will be up for initial election next year. Now let's go through them one at a time. So here they are. First is Senator Ossoff from Georgia. True politician. He's up for re-election next year, and he is not in a strong position to win re-election. It would behoove him to be one of the people that shows leadership by helping to stop the shutdown. Number 2 is Senator Peters from Michigan. Normally up for re-election in 2026, he has chosen to retire. Michigan is considered a toss-up state. Whoever it will be the Democrat primary winner and up for election initially in 2026 will be having the headwind of why did the Democrats cause the shutdown. Senator Peters could help that person out a lot by supporting the continuing resolution. He's also a Navy vet, and I think is a pretty good guy. Number 3 is Senator Tina Smith from Minnesota. Now, what's interesting here is that Minnesota is in the news for a lot of bad reasons nowadays. Corruption, stealing of money from the government, illegal immigration issues. I think it's leaning towards becoming Republican. Senator Tina Smith would normally run for re-election in 2026, but she is retiring. And I think also that she should be placing her replacement in the best position to win election. Number 4 is Senator Shaheen from the state of New Hampshire. Similar to Senator Smith, she is not going to run for re-election next year. She is retiring. But different than Senator Smith is you don't see things in the news about New Hampshire. However, I could still see that New Hampshire could go Republican, so Senator Shaheen might possibly support the continuing resolution to position her replacement in the best position possible for getting elected. And number 5, Senator Warner from Virginia. Now, he is a dyed-in-the-wool, real Democrat that I would never expect to switch over and be supportive of the continuing resolution. However, he's from Virginia, and he's up for re-election next year. Virginia has a lot of government employees that depend upon not having a shutdown and not being irreversibly laid off as President Trump has stated. So I believe Senator Warner might be seriously considering, and I think he should support the continuing resolution for his own sake and for the good of the country, of course. Now, the bottom line is on these 5, they may not actually cross the party line to support the continuing resolution. I believe they should. I believe there's a high probability that they will. Senator Warner is the one that I would least likely believe would do it, even though he is the one with all the government employees up in Northeast Virginia. You'd really think he'd want to have the shutdown stopped. But we need to realize also that if only 4 senators support the continuing resolution, maybe Senator Rand Paul, the lone Republican senator that did not support the continuing resolution, and he's never supported one, maybe he would go ahead and support it this time. Maybe other senators from the Democratic Party who are not up for re-election next year, but will show their true self by looking inside their hearts and will realize that for the good of the country, it'd be best to stop the shutdown. And in the meantime, good old President Trump and his administration may take advantage of this to do some good things for helping out our country to be more efficient and less in debt. So there you go. Hungry strike for America, no loss. By the way, I have about 53 weeks left to lose 40 pounds. So I really need to change gears and make certain that I am back on track properly. Common cause is food and me. So I think I can figure this one out. I have been hungry, but I'm just not hungry enough, which has a lot of similarities with what we need to do in order to ensure that we retain majorities in House and the Senate. Thank you for watching this video. As always, God bless you. God bless President Trump and his administration. I pray that this shutdown is over with so that any stress or other problems that people may be encountering because of the shutdown are resolved. And God bless the United States of America. See you next week.